What's going on, my planting people? My name is Lithius and welcome to Roots Ready. It is December. Can you believe it? We're already here. We've gone full circle and we're back here again. It's the month of joy and cheer and family, but importantly, it's the month of giving. Presents, that is. And in today's video, I'm going to be giving you 10 gift ideas for your planty friends and family. Most of the things on this list I actually already own, and I find that it makes a huge difference to my plant care, my journey, and some of them I don't. So if you're listening and you want to get me a present, then you know, I will let you know exactly what I'm looking for. So keep that in mind. But I'm playing. Let's get straight into this video. Now, the first thing on my list, and it's something that I would recommend to anybody with more than 10 plants, is a pressure sprayer water bottle, and one at an appropriate size. This is probably one of the biggest ones, but you can get even bigger ones that you can kind of wear as a backpack. You can get smaller ones as well. I think I do have a smaller one. No idea where it is though. Anyway, this is a game changer. Honestly, if you have been lugging around a watering can, or if you're anything like me, I used old plastic bottles, and that is just a joke, especially when it comes to getting to the hard to reach areas. It's a nightmare to do it with anything else. This, with this long wand, allows you to get into those hard to reach areas, and you can just water your plants exactly what they need. I actually put my fertilizer in here as well when I'm watering, and it just saves me so much time and effort, honestly. If I have to water all of my plants on the very same day, because sometimes my cacti, I won't water them for a month or something like that, but if it comes around that all of the plants need watering, this, I'll probably go through around 3 of these easily. But even with this, I'm sure there's an upgrade I can look at to improve my collection. This has been absolutely essential to keeping my plants happy and keeping me happy, because it eases the burden on me to look after all of these plants. So my number one suggestion is a pressure sprayer. Now, second on my list is this, and it's not because if you click on the link in my bio you can get a discount on this, and I also get a little bit of a commission. Shameless plug over there, but it's not that. It's semi-hydro mix. Soil Ninja does an amazing one. You can get your rocks a bit smaller for your more delicate plants, to get it larger for plants that are a bit more robust. But honestly, this is a game changer. And although this is semi-hydro, it is an excellent soil additive, because this thing will help to fluff up your soil. So whether or not you use it as a semi-hydro, whether or not you use it as you would a regular plant. So I recently did a video where I repotted my desert rose and I used this semi-hydro mix, but the idea is that I won't have a reservoir in that plant. I'll just water it as I would a regular plant. You can use it for that, or you can add it to your regular soil and mix it in and get it nice and fluffy and aerated. It's just absolutely wonderful. It's got all the things that you need to keep your plants happy. Hit myself in the head. Oh well, that's it. That's how excited I am with this product. This is a semi-hydro mix, in particular the one from Soil Ninja, so definitely check it out. Number 3, and something that we all need, and personally something that I forget that I need until it runs out, is fertilizer. In my case, I'm using liquid gold leaf. It's an absolutely amazing product. It gives you instructions to use it for regular soil gardening, for semi-hydro mixes, for foliar spray, for propagation. You can use it for whatever you like. I found that my plants have responded very well to this since I switched over to using it. It's a very good, high quality fertilizer. However, I would say if you are buying this for your friends or family, maybe try to find out what fertilizers that they use. I think people have different preferences. Your water quality can determine what kind of fertilizer that you use. You may have a particular preference, so it's about understanding exactly what that person wants and then go in and top them up and get a refill. So this is definitely something that I'll put on my list of things that I would want, because as I said, you never know you need it until you need it, and then it's too late. At number 4 on this list, one of the things I would recommend are shears. maybe not these. These are very cheap shears. I honestly don't know why I got these things. They are good, they do the job, but they're not very aesthetically pleasing. When I use it, it locks itself up. Look at that. See, it locks itself up because this is just a bit too loose. So it is a bit of a faff, a bit of a headache to use. Sometimes I've got to kind of keep my finger on there, and it's a bit awkward, especially if you want to get into tight spots. So definitely something I would recommend. My lights just went off. They're on the timer, so I guess it's night time for my plants. But anyway, we'll press on. There are so many nicer, more beautiful options, especially if you have a friend or family member that's really into bonsai. These shears can cost in the hundreds. There's some really high quality tools out there that you can use, so you can definitely tailor it to either how much you like the person or your budget. So there's something to choose from for everyone. This was under £5, so not very expensive at all, but again, you can find anything to suit your budget or your preference. But I think this is something that we all need and we all use, especially, you know, now we're going into the winter months where some of your plants might start to lose a few leaves. You might just want to go through and clean it up, cut it up, and especially with spring coming up as well, I have a lot of plants that I'm eyeing up that I'm going to start propagating as well. So I need a really good pair of shears. So if you're writing a list for me, stick this on there and I'll be a very happy boy. Next on my list are grow lights, and I'm going to grab this one here that I'm actually using as my video light. This is just an example of a grow light. These are adjustable arms. I'm going to put this back so you can actually see me. There are many different types of grow lights that you can choose from. I've got this one here, which is almost like an octopus arm, right? It's an amazing, brilliant, high-powered grow light. The only thing I would say is that you'll want to double check exactly what sort of light fitting that your person uses. For example, this one doesn't use your standard UK bulb. It actually uses a screw-in one. So luckily the one that I'm using here is a screw-in one, so it worked fine for me. But you might find that the person that you're buying it from don't have the right fitting, so just make sure you get the right one. The adjustable arm one that I showed you usually doesn't need its own fitting. It usually has a plug that goes directly into the socket, so that means that it can be used almost anywhere as long as there's a power source. But for me, grow lights have been an absolute game changer. It means that I don't have to think too much about where I want my plants. If I want a plant in the darkest corner in the room, I can have it there because I've got my grow lights. And you know, it allows you to be a bit more creative with your placement of your plants and making sure that they all get exactly what they need. Grow lights, I would say, definitely gets a bit more crucial as we go into the colder, darker months, just to make sure that your plants don't go into too much of a shock, and you can gradually decrease or increase their light as we enter and leave winter. At number 6, and sticking with our winter theme in mind, I would suggest heat mats. I wasn't able to get my heat mat out to show you because it's actually underneath this jungle of plants behind me, and it would be a nightmare to take all these plants out and put them back in. There are so many heat mats to choose from. If you go into Amazon, you can find a whole variety of plant specific heat mats. In my experience, that always costs a bit more because it's more of a luxury item. The heat mats that I actually got were for reptiles, and they actually worked pretty well. The only issue is with the plant ones, you can regulate the temperature, you can adjust it, get it exactly to where you want it. With this, it sort of hits a limit and it stays at that. It doesn't, you can't adjust it. But in my experience, it's absolutely fine for your sort of medium to larger plants, right? It's absolutely fine. If you have a small, tiny seedling and it's the only thing sitting on the mat, it will dry it out for sure, which I've actually experienced with my regal cutting that I was trying to save. I stuck it on the heat mat and it just completely dried out, and I had to restart that plant saving journey again. Luckily it's all right now, but that's something to keep in mind. It's probably better for sort of more established plants, but that's when the plant specific heat mats come in. So a heat mat is a really great Christmas gift idea, especially if the person that you're getting it for is really into propagating or they're getting into it. It's a really great thing because a combination of a heat mat and a grow light to a propagator is like, I don't know, it's like Christmas. There we go. At number 7, we have plant ties. Now, I've got this one here, which is more for your outdoor gardening. It's sort of metal wrapped in a bit of plastic. It's not the best looking thing, but it sure is sturdy. This thing can hold a massive plant if you needed it to. You could double it up and you can use as much or as little as you like. This one is really great for that. But in terms of a houseplant collection and ease of taking it off and reusing it and so on, I wouldn't recommend this metal one. The one that I would recommend, which I haven't got any of, so if you're writing a list for me, put this on there, is the Velcro plant ties. It's just really, really great. I've just seen a plant here with some of that Velcro plant ties, so I'm gonna grab it. So this is my Hoya latifolia, and here is the Velcro plant tie. It's green, so it blends in. It's not offensive to the eye. But it's just so easy to put on and put off and to cut to size. It's a really, really great one. I always find that it doesn't go very far, so I tend not to buy it. I went for that other one because you get a massive spool of it and it will last you forever. I've had this thing for about a year now and it's still got some on there. It's approaching the end, but it's still got some on there. But this Velcro one is just amazing and it's highly reusable. I have taken plant Velcro ties off of plants that I have now given away or have died, and it's still in use, it's still in service. Unlike this metal one, when it goes, that's it. It usually starts to, you know, you can't untie it because it's metal, it sort of holds that shape, and then if you tie it and untie it too much, the metal inside of the plastic sheet then tends to break and it's just useless after that. So the Velcro one is a great gift idea if you want to get it for someone. Get them a massive spool of it and they will love you for it. At number 8, I would recommend moss. Sustainably harvest moss. I think that's really important to stress because some moss actually harvest really unsustainably and causes a lot of damage to the environment. So when you're purchasing moss, I would suggest that you look into its background in terms of how and where it was sourced. I think that's really, really important. But moss is a great friend to a plant grower. When you have seedlings or when you're trying to rehab a plant or when you're trying to grow a cutting out, honestly, there's not much that can really compete with moss. It's great at keeping that moisture around the roots, at holding onto that moisture, but also allowing lots and lots of airflow. So it's a great thing to have. And I think everybody always wants to have just a little bit of moss on hand for any emergency work. You might want to do a bit of air layering or something. It's just really handy. So that's another one that I would recommend. At number 9, something that I actually don't have, and you can add it to my list, is a propagation station. I haven't seen any ready-made propagation stations, nothing that I would write home about. But essentially what you need is a really nice sturdy table, something that can take a bit of a bashing, something that can take a bit of a beating, something that's large enough but not too large, that you can fold away and stick in a corner, something that can actually catch the dirt, because when you're propagating and you're pulling things out and you know, it gets really messy. But something else that you might want to consider is maybe a tray of some sort, something that you can put seedlings on with a bit of a cover, a bit of a cloche, especially for any cuttings or seedlings. It makes your life so much easier just to have something that you can put away, stick into a corner. It's really great. I think I have an example of a propagation station. So as you can see, this tray has loads of seeds in it. It's really great at keeping all these plants in a high humid environment, and you know, all of them are doing excellently. Out of all of the seedlings I've put in here, I think it's about 100%, if not 90-something% success rate. Most of the seedlings have sprouted and they're continuing to grow. So it's an excellent thing for anybody that wants to start propagating and getting seeds and stuff ready, especially in the run up to spring as well, because that's the prime time. You want to capitalize on that. So if you get it now, then they can start to prep and get ready for the spring boom. And finally, probably the most obvious one for a plant lover is a plant. Oh my god, this is my peace lily. It was over there staring at me. It's so lovely and lush and bushy. It's absolutely gorgeous. The only thing is, it probably doesn't put out that many flowers, but that's because it doesn't get that much light. But you know, I like the bushy feel of this. But a plant to a plant lover is our kryptonite. Every plant lover out there has a list somewhere of a plant that they would love to own. So get your hands on that list, find out exactly what they want, what they love, and get it for them. It's as simple as that. So that is it. Those are my 10 top tips for presents for a plant lover. I hope that helps you make your decision this coming Christmas. And from me and my peace lily over here, keep planting.